Hello, everyone. It's Nicolette Barrett here, your career development strategist, ready to get started. I got in just a little while ago, so I'm trying to get adjusted here. But I am ready if you all are ready. And I have some great tips for you. And hey, Jessica, I just saw you today, girl. I am loving your hair. Love your hair. Hey, Lawrence Hall, how are you? Long time no see. So glad to have you guys with me. And as I always ask that if you're on the broadcast, please share the broadcast. Hey, Carla, I hope you're feeling better. That flu is no joke. I pray that you are doing better, girlfriend. You know I miss you too. I can't run over to your desk. So I've been looking for you. But as always, please share the broadcast. Hey, well, I'm glad you are. Hey, cuz, my new cousin on here, Orlando. Glad to have you join. Awesome. I am looking. I don't know why I'm not showing up on my own broadcast, y'all. But, oh, there I am. Okay, now I can share. I'm trying to share it to my page. You know, I broadcasted last week from my iRock Resumes Facebook page, but I was having problems sharing it from iRock Resumes to my personal page. And then my viewership was kind of getting all over the place. I think I had like 200 or something on one and 100 or something. Well, that's been a week ago since I've checked. I haven't checked yet, but it was kind of crazy. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to make sure that more people are able to get on. But I would love for you guys to share the broadcast as well, and that would help more viewership. And I'm going to give you guys some tips. And just put that out there, and then we can get started. Hey. Well, thank you, Lawrence. It's been a long time, man. Thank you so much. I'm just simply doing what I love to do, doing something I've been doing down through the years, but decided to not only save it for corporate America, but do it for the public, because many people need this information as well. And I want you all to be successful. And, you know, I don't know if you saw the broadcast last week. I mean, I guess I became very emotional because I want you all to succeed so much, and you have so much in you to do that. Sometimes you just need to know the how. And that's what I try to do, is give practical tips on what you really can do to elevate your career. So I'm glad that you joined, but if you all can't share the broadcast, and I will get started. For those of you all who do not know who I am Nicolette Barrett. I am a career development strategist, also the CEO and founder of iRock Development Solutions, LLC, doing business as iRock Resumes. And what I do is offer services of resume writing, career development, LinkedIn profile, as well as interview prep. And, oh, I forgot, I didn't even bring my books in here. I wrote some books, y'all, and I sold out of the books, and one of my friends was getting on me that I need to get some more so I can show, but I did have an interview book, since I was talking about interviewing today, that I wanted to show. If you all want to go to my website, irockresumes.com/books, you can buy the books right there. It'll take you right to Amazon, or you can go on amazon.com and get all of my top secrets on how to interview. So I want you guys to do that as well. But today's topic is how to level up your interview. So I'm going to give you 5 ways to level up your interview. So just in case you have that interview coming up, something that's, you know, you're preparing for, or just have it in the back of your mind so you know what to do. Because a lot of times we forget these little things we need to do to really have a very polished interview. And doing these things will eliminate a lot of the nerves as well, because we are going into an interview and we're very, very nervous, and we don't have to be, because it's all about preparing. Anytime you go to anything, if you're not prepared for it, you're going to have a little bit of anxiety. And I want to give you some quick tips on how you can eliminate that anxiety, okay? So one of my first tips, do your research on the company itself. Going into an interview blind and not researching the actual company puts you at a disadvantage. You're going in to talk about who you are and sell yourself, but you're not really sure you're selling yourself to the right person, right? So you want to make sure that you are even comfortable with going to that company and not just see a job posting that sounds great, but the owner of that posting may not be the company you want to be with. So as they say, is a little bit more to it. So when you're reading the job description, so okay, that sounds really great, because any great writer can write that. I can write a great job posting, but what about the company that I'm writing it for? So you have people who are paid to do it, or people on staff in the HR department that will write that, but it may not be the company for you. Not to say that the company is bad for anybody, but it may not be the company for you. So I always recommend go online and research the company. Find out the financial health of the company. You really want to know that, because if they're not financially healthy, there may be layoffs in the future. So you have to think about, do you want to be with a company in 2 to 3 years and all of a sudden you're being laid off? So look at the financial strength of the actual company. Look at the company's mission and vision. Do they even align with your own personal values and your own personal mission and vision? Look at the benefits they're offering. See if they talk about or have videos about people with the time off policy. Time off is really critical. If that's really critical to you and your work-life balance, but they only give you like 10 days, no matter if you're sick, or you're sick, you got to go on vacation, your child is sick, 10 days may not be enough. So you may want to not go to that company because they're not as flexible. What if you have to be at your desk from 9 to 5 and there's no flexibility? You can't hardly take the vacation days that you actually, create, or you earn, I should say. So you want to make sure you're researching the company to make sure it's a good fit for you and your lifestyle. So make sure you do your research, because just because you landed an interview, that's great, but it may not be the company that you want to actually work for. So be careful with that. So do your research. And not only will it help you understand the company that you're going to be interviewing for and possibly work for, you're also going to go in there, if it's a company that passes your personal test, and maybe they want to be also being able to converse about what their values are, what their end goal are. Maybe they have some philanthropy, and you can talk about, well, I understand that you sell overseas and these are the type of products and these are the type of customers you deal with. You want to be able to be educated about the actual company, so you can have an intelligent conversation about how the opportunity that you're interviewing for, the job that you're doing day to day, can help undergird their ultimate mission and goal to increase their bottom line, because that's what they're bringing you in for, to help them increase their bottom line. So how does it all mesh together? What is your piece of the puzzle? And so you want to be able to incorporate that into some of your answers when you're talking about it, because you understand, basically, as they say, you get me. So you get the company, you understand the company. So you want to make sure that you're doing that as well. So please do your research for your own personal benefit, and also do the research to make sure that they know that you know where you're coming to work for, and how this job fits into the piece of the puzzle of what they do on a daily basis and how they earn their income. That's only going to benefit you. So that's my first tip. Make sure you do your research for your benefit, and also to help you with interview questions and connecting the dots when you're answering the interview questions. Number 2, create a great opening statement. Now, when I say that, I'm teetering on the fact that you don't want to get in there and regurgitate your whole resume, because your hopes will be that they would have read your resume, understand what's on there, and they're really going to ask you questions to support what you put on your resume. But if they say, tell me about yourself, you are not necessarily your resume. They want to know who you are as a person. How would you as a person fit into their culture, fit into that team or that department? How would you get along with people? Who are you? Do you have a life outside of work? So you want to create a great opening statement that kind of gives them a high-level overview of your actual, I guess, your skill base or your competencies and some of the accomplishments that you made, without just going down the list. Well, I started off here and I started off there. But I caveat to say, if they ask you to tell me about your work history, then of course you should know your resume well enough so that you can speak to it. But also make sure that you're preparing an opening statement, because when I'm asking the question, tell me a little bit about yourself, I want to know who you are. I want to know who you are on a high level. So think about your high level competencies, and then couple of accomplishments that tie into the role that you're interviewing for. And then I want to know something a little bit fun about you, personal. And when I say personal, not that I've been divorced 5 times and, all of this kind of stuff. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that, well, I'm a soccer mom, or, I love, baking or something like that. Or I told one client, I asked her, so what do you like to do? And she said, well, I make a great cake. I said, well, why don't you tell them that, you're a great baker? I make a mean pineapple upside down cake. And, that gets people laughing, and it actually breaks a lot of the tension in the room to say something. People are into sports. So, talk about a sport. Oh, I'm a big sports fan. I love watching football or basketball. Some things like that will connect people. That's a commonality with people. It's okay to say something like that and keep it very brief and very, just a little snippet. I tell people I love scrapbooking, and so therefore that opens up a conversation. What is scrapbooking about? And so then I'm talking to them about scrapbooking, and they're interested in that. So they get to see who I am, because I'm not only a very technical person, I'm also a very creative person as well. So that can work to my advantage. Oh, she's technical, but she's also very creative. That's a good combination in a natural role. So think about those things as well. It's okay to say something personal as long as you don't go down deep in the woods about it. Just something very high level. Okay, so next, number 3, eliminate your nerves by practicing. Yes, mock interviewing, practice interviewing is going to help you. Just like a speaker, if a speaker just can't get up and just speak without having some practice about what they're going to say, how they're going to deliver it, and being able to present themselves, how are they going to present themselves? Just if you do all of that kind of stuff and practice, you will automatically eliminate the nerves, because what I find most clients do, they're not prepared. That's why they get so nervous in the interviewing process. And so it's my job to coach them and teach them the steps that they need to do to get through the whole process without feeling nervous. And so you don't want to be there and nervous and you're not practicing, not even recognizing some of the things that you do when you're interviewing. One client, it was so funny when we were doing the interview, and every time I do a mock interview, I record it so it's a playback so you can watch it yourself. So the coaching is not just a one done. You can actually listen to the coaching over and over and over again. And plus, my clients are nationally, so I can't go and meet a client in front. So we do a lot of not FaceTime. I use my video to actually record the actual interviewing session. But what she kept doing as I'm asking the question, she's rocking and she's looking up at the ceiling. And I'm thinking that she's doing this, and then she'll get into her answers. I said, no, you have to look at focus and look at the people that you're interviewing with, but your eyes go straight up to the ceiling. So sometimes you don't realize you're doing these things. These little nervous twitches that we have, that like you see me talking with my hands, that's just me. But sometimes it may not come across very well in the interview, but you got to think about those little things. So how can you play off some of your little tweaks that you have, or little twists that you have on how that you can play them up to your advantage. So be careful of those things. So if you're practicing and you're noticing those things that you do, you may want to eliminate those and replace them with a more positive manner. And then practicing eliminates nerves. Practice makes perfect. So when you're sure of yourself and you've practiced, you can go in there and really do a really good job in the interview. And even if they don't select you, you won't feel like, oh, I walked out of the interview and didn't do my best. All you can do is go in there and do your best. But if you don't practice and you wing it, I will guarantee you, they will see right through it. They will know that you didn't prepare. They will know that you didn't practice. They will know that. Not to go in there and sound like you've rehearsed, but you have to have an idea about what you're going to say when you get there. Just winging it, walking in, and just hoping for the best, that's not going to get it all the time, okay? So make sure that you're practicing. Find a trusted colleague, find a good friend, or if you want to invest in an interview prep coach, do that too. Yes, I am one. Everybody don't just buy resumes from me. They also buy coaching from me. And so therefore, interview prep coaching is very, very crucial because it's preparing you how to present yourself. And I have a very strategic way on how I coach people on doing that, so they can really hear more of the, yes, you did a great job, great answer, though, that kind of feedback during the interaction, okay? Next thing, if you are having a phone interview, practice how you sound over the phone. Because some people probably, even holding the phone, it could be muffled, it could be this, or you don't realize that you're doing like this and you're all up in the phone, it's just too much. So make sure you're practicing how you sound actually over the phone. And what if it's a video interview? Now, you all see me on FaceTime. That means on my computer, I have a camera. You can do it on your own cell phone, right? So just practice and see how you look on a video, and have someone critique it and say, you know what, do you realize you do this, or you realize you do that? Or even on a phone, you may find that you're doing something on the phone, breathing too hard, just muffled or something. Make sure that you practice even phone talking on the phone, because sometimes you have to get through a recruiter, right? Orlando, are you still on here? Like Orlando, I think you have a recruiting background. And if you're not sounding very well on the phone, then, you can't get your point across. You may not even pass that to get to the person that you sit in front of face to face. So practice that as well. Phone and even the video, and you can record yourself and see how you look and see how you interact. A lot of companies not flying people all across America to do an interview anymore. They're setting up their systems to do a Skype interview, Zoom interview, or what have you. People just don't do that anymore. I can coach people all across this America, and we have coaching and everything, and we can do it right on Zoom. I don't have to be in front of you to do that. So practice those types of skills, because we don't realize that is still a skill, and that's something that we have to practice. It's not just about getting in front of someone, okay? So look into doing that. Number 5, that's my last tip. Have a mindset that they need you just as much as you want or need them. So what I mean by that, and not to say go into an interview very pompous or very arrogant. What I am saying is that this is a mutual partnership, a mutual beneficial partnership. I'm coming in to see how I can benefit you, and I want to also see how you can benefit me. So therefore, if it's a mutual partnership, then that's great. And there also can be a time where you find out after the whole interview process that this is not the role for you. I did that years ago when I was interviewing for a fire claim representative job. I was 5'1". I weighed probably 105 pounds wet. And they were telling me about I had to carry a ladder, climb on roofs, and all this kind of stuff at the insurance company. I'm like, all these things that they were doing and asking me to do and asking, could I confirm? And I got to the point, I said, well, while I can talk to the customers, I don't remember the specific conversation, but in the end, I told them, to be honest, I can't do this job. This job seems to be a little bit too much and not what I was expecting. I was very honest in the interview. Yes, I felt defeated. I was so disappointed because I really wanted to work for that company. But I walked out of there and I was like, oh, well, I had a job. So it wasn't like I didn't have a job. So I just went back to my old job. And then 2 weeks later, I got a call for another opportunity. Instead of being in the fire company or homeowners insurance, they asked that I interview for an auto company because they loved my honesty and the fact that I pretty much had a really good interview. But I just had to be honest. I can't carry, I can barely carry anything. So I cannot carry a ladder and all the gear, and they were telling me about getting on roofs and stuff like that. So, but they said they passed my name on to the auto company. I interviewed there and got the job, and it was based on how well I interviewed for that fire role that they recommended me. So I almost had it in. I didn't know that then, but I know that now. I almost had it in when I went to the interview, and then they hired me. So again, it's a two-way street, and sometimes you may find out in the conversation that this is not a good partnership. So therefore, you can walk away from it, and don't worry about that. There's other opportunities out there. If it's not the right one from you, walk away. And again, it's a mutual partnership. It should be beneficial to both of you guys. So don't go in there as if they're the big eyes and it's the little you. No, we're equal. My skill level what I have to offer, my skills, talents, and abilities, they're worth something. And I'm going to own that. And you're going to make sure you understand that in this interview. Again, not pompous, not arrogant, but very sure of myself, very confident in myself. And when I'm feeling like that, it comes across in the interview anyway, right? And so they're like, okay, this person can really do not only this job, maybe another job, another job, another job, because a lot of companies now are looking at succession, putting people into a role where they can see them moving into future roles. So that's what you really want to look at as well. And last but not least, this is my bonus. Please understand that it's a conversation. It's just a conversation. It's not, don't get so caught up in the fact that it's an interview. It's really a conversation. If you go in there with that mindset, you'll be able to converse about who you are. People kept asking me, were you nervous to be on Good Morning Texas on TV? Were you nervous with all the cameras and all this kind of stuff? I said, no, I was not nervous. I kept telling myself I was nervous and excited about the idea of going on live TV, but I kept telling myself it's a conversation. I knew what I was going to be talking about. I know my stuff. I've practiced it for as long as I've been running iRock resumes. So I was very sure of what I was going to say and how I was going to present it, because I'm used to presenting in front of people anyway. So I wasn't nervous, but I kept telling myself when I got there, because when I got there and all the lights, and they had to mic me and all this kind of stuff, and I'm going into these hot lights, and I had on a wool suit, y'all, but that's another story. But anyway. It was cold, but under those lights it's not so cold. But as I'm getting there, I kept telling myself, I'm going to have a conversation. I'm prepared. I have prepared for this moment for years. This is my opportunity, and I'm going to make sure that I do my best to not only do myself proud, but all those who support me, all those backers, all those people who have seen me grow down through the years. I'm going for everybody. And so I had to go in there having a conversation and knowing I was going to put my best foot forward. And you can do that too. When it comes down to your salary, benefits, taking care of your family, all that kind of stuff, it's a conversation. It's a serious conversation, but it is a conversation. And so when you go in there from that perspective, if you're sure of who you are and you know who you are, you can go in there and slay that interview. I'm telling you all, you can slay that interview. And then you can determine whether or not you want to work for that company. Because when the offer comes in, you may be at such an advantage, they really want you, that then it goes into the negotiation. That's not this broadcast. It will be another broadcast about that. But you will have, I don't want to say the upper hand, you will be on equal footing and say, okay, this is a mutual beneficial partnership. How is this opportunity going to benefit you, and how is it going to benefit me? And maybe we can talk about a figure that will be reasonable for me and everything, but I'm not going to get into that whole thing. But those are my 5 tips. So my 5 tips again. Number 1, do your research on the company so you're well versed and what kind of company you're interviewing for, and then maybe even determine if you want to actually continue with that process. Number 2, create a great opening statement, not necessarily regurgitating your resume. Be familiar with your resume just in case they ask you what is your job history. You want to go down that list, but have something very interesting and high level. Number 3, eliminate the nerves by practicing. The more you practice, the less your nerves are. And I'm not saying go in there sounding rehearsed, but just practice about who you are, your skills, your talents, your abilities, and how it lines up to this job description. You practice that. You know you better than anybody. So just talk about it, and don't be ashamed to talk about yourself. Number 4, practice how you sound on the phone, because sometimes a phone interview is required before you can get to sit down in front of the actual hiring manager. We have recruiters that will actually screen people before they come and sit in front of me. So by the time they do all of the, screening and stuff and they make it in, then I'm the one that's actually making the actual final decision. You're going to now come and sit in front of me. But how do you actually converse on the phone? Are you muffled or what? So think about that. And also video. If it's going to be a video interview, because again, people not flying you out, practice a video interview. Number 5, have a mindset that they need you just as much as you need them. It's a mutual beneficial partnership. And last but not least, it's a conversation. Think on that level and you all will be just fine. All right. I hope you all enjoyed another episode of Nicolette Barrett's Career Musings as I give you my tips on how to level up your interview. And I hope this has been very helpful to you guys and everything. Oh, you all are welcome. Oh, see, Orlando, he's the, recruiter. So, so, and if you all are interested in writing a book, Orlando, you're having some kind of book thing, right? I can't think of it. If people are interested in being an author, he does that. So check out Orlando. He's on here. Click on his name and you'll find out all of his information. Him and his wife are doing a great thing over there trying to get authors. So if you're interested in being an author, he will help you do that. So please go over and check him out as well. And again, the books, if you need a resume book on resume writing, go to my website, and also interview prep. If you want more intense coaching and intense training, iRockResumes.com. I have a lot of offerings out there, career coaching packages, interview prep, all the 9 yards. If you need my assistance, I'm be glad and more than honored to assist you. Thank you guys so much for joining, and share the broadcast so other people can get this great information. Next week, let me see what my topic is. I always try to tell you all what my topics are for the following week because I've been very organized. I have the whole quarter filled out. So I'm pretty excited about that. Mine for, where are you? Self-development is the golden key. That's what we're going to talk about. Self-development is the golden key to career success. So join me next Thursday, same time, 6:45 p.m. Central Standard Time, as I give you my great tips on why self-development is your golden key to success. Thank you guys so much. Oh, thank you, Miss Vanessa. Hi. I am so glad that you all joined. And again, like I said, share the broadcast. And if you did miss the broadcast, the live broadcast, please watch the replay and use those nuggets. And if you guys have questions, things that you want me to talk about, although I have my whole quarter, I'm building for next quarter. So if you have things that you want me to talk about, or I may even throw in one of those, just a Q&A session. Maybe you all want something like that, and I just come on and just answer your questions. If you even want something like that, put it in the comments, and I will make sure that I do that because I want to help you guys as much as I possibly can. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.